those of you on Twitch and YouTube, we should be going. It'll take me a second here to get everything lined up for Facebook, so just give me a second here to make certain everything is where it needs to be. Unfortunately, no. Okay, fine. That's the way it's going to be. A couple seconds here. For those of you who are on Twitch and YouTube, if you're just checking in, go ahead and if you have any questions, drop them into the comments section. Would love to know what everybody is thinking for tonight, or just where you're checking in from. Would love to know more about where you're at this point in time. So just give us a shout and let us know more about where you happen to be. And there we go. All right, now one last thing. Done now. See, this, for those of you on YouTube and Twitch, this is what happens when you're running everything at once. So it just takes a little while to get everything where it needs to be. All right, I think that's done. Let's go ahead and launch this thing on YouTube. It'll take just a second to get everything lined up for everything on air. And I think that should just about do it. We should be getting the stream through here in just a second or two. Hopefully it will show up here in just a second, because if it doesn't, I don't want to have to go through all of that again. And there we go. All right, stand by for Facebook. Let's go ahead and get this thing launched and go from there. It is welcome to Monday evening, the second to last Monday of the month of March for 2026. It is a beautiful evening out there. It is also a little bit on the cooler side than what we saw from earlier today. We did have, again, some bit of a cold front blast its way on through. Did do a very good job of increasing the winds and also giving us not much in the way of rain, a few clouds out there, and that was really about all that we wound up with. Chances of rain are going to be pretty few and far between in the course of the next couple of days, so we will be watching again for the potential of some rain. If you've noticed, if you're on our Facebook page, you may notice a few sections down from Weather Overtime. There was a notice we posted regarding fire danger for portions of the area, and that possibly is going to continue throughout the course of the next several days. Higher wildfire risk. We'll see what the Storm Prediction Center has to say about that, because they're the ones who post those fire outlooks that we have. And unless we get some more rainfall in here, it is going to be, again, quite dry over the course of the next several days. So expecting more potential of some maybe wildfire danger out there into the next few days. So definitely time to be cautious with anything involving fire out there into the next few days. All right, I think that's it. We are now live and going. This is Weather Overtime from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick, bringing you our exclusive video weather blog to get you updated on what is going on across the area when it comes to anything involving outdoors for the forecast, traveling out there. If you have questions about what's going on or just want to check in from wherever you happen to be, please drop that to our comments section. We'd love to know more about that. As we go through this, if you have any ideas about what it is you'd like to see on our blog, please drop us an email and let us know. Email address in the lower section of the screen, at aonic@wdef.com. If you want to see more satellite pictures, more worldwide weather, more science information, anything like that, we'd love to know what you're thinking. So again, give us a shout and let us know a little bit more about what it is that you would like to see on regular scheduled video weather blogs. So thank you very much for tuning in for tonight. Let's go ahead and hop on into it for this evening. Thanking all of our viewers for sending in the pictures that they have done into the last several weeks, days, months, years, everything. This particular one for today, starting off the first week of spring with a decidedly winter picture, courtesy of News 12 viewer William Brazil, hope I'm saying that correctly, from the Ottawa area, with a very leprechaun-sized snowman. Nice view there. And wherever this was from Ottawa in and around that area, whatever snow was left over there, nice little pint-sized snowman to be seen. So thank you very much, Mr. William, for sending that in. If you've got pictures, we'd love to see what you're seeing out there and show them to everybody. So go ahead and send them in to us. There are many different ways to get them to us. You can email them to us, pictures@wdef.com. You can go to our website, wdef.com/photos, or you can drop them off on social media pages on Facebook, X, and Instagram in the comments section. Please give us a description and or a location so we won't have to guess about what you are seeing and where. So please give us that much of a courtesy on there. Thanks a lot to the Tennessee Aquarium for letting us borrow their secret reef cam. It makes a nice little background, and this is one very nice camera to have around when it comes to having a nice little screensaver to look at, so to speak, semi-live view of life under the water at the Tennessee Aquarium. And occasionally you can have a pretty good traffic jam of sharks moving on through. Not seeing anything like that for tonight, but several fish out and about swimming on through. One shark off in the distance, but otherwise not that much happening from here. Into tomorrow, if you're going to be heading to the classroom, teacher, student, administrator, it will be chilly, so that car rider line in the morning, you're going to need probably the coat. Winds will be occasionally breezy, but not by much, and clouds will be coming and going throughout the entire area. So on the mild side during the afternoon, temperatures will be just above normal for this time of the year, but we're not going to see as warm as it has been for the last several days. So it is possible that we could see some fairly cool temperatures across the area. From the 1% list Scenic City camera, downtown Chattanooga on top of the EPB building, very nice conditions, a little breezy, Old Glory being caught there with a little bit of breeze taking place. All of our cameras are available on the EPB fiber optics WeatherCam network system, and that's available at wdef.com/weather if you'd ever like to see any of our cameras out there. 2475, no major problems being seen here. There are some backups. The traffic slow from 24 east to 75 north. This is just south of the Chattanooga Airport, which is the light you can see right there. So there is a bit of traffic. No accidents taking place, so good news again for travelers at this point in time. Downtown, from the area around the Chattanooga Theater Center from the North Shore on the Speedy's Total Car Care camera, lots of folks out and about this evening when it came to getting out for a stroll with some extremely nice conditions out across much of the area. And one more peek here before we move on to the current conditions, right before 10 o'clock Eastern time. The Chattanooga Zoo Hug a Bunny camera, that event coming up in the near future. You can take your kids, your grandkids to this event, let them, again, hold the bunny, know what it's like to kind of have that feel of that rabbit fur. But again, you don't have to, and a lot of experts in the pet community are not recommending that you get a bunny for a present. That's a lot of responsibility. So if you'd like to be able to get up and close with a couple of lop ears, great opportunity to do so at the Chattanooga Zoo. And the view toward Erlanger Hospital up around 4th Street, very good visibility. The lights of Signal Mountain very clear off in the distance for tonight, so it is, again, a beautiful evening. Temperatures were pretty mild earlier. They've sunk a little bit. We are back in the mid-50s, so we do have, again, a little bit of a drop in temperatures. It's not going to be quite as chilly for tonight, but temperatures will be, again, pretty brisk into the morning hours. Air quality, surprisingly, a little bit better in some circumstances anyway. Overall, we are at a green or good level at about 42, just a little while earlier from tonight. Mold spores continue at moderate, and tree pollen is up to the high level. So we did manage to really increase the tree pollen out there. So anybody who's got that affecting eyes and nose, that is probably going to be noticeable in the next few days. Ragweed is my problem. Usually that doesn't happen until the autumn, but these days, whatever it is that blooms around here does a really good number on everything upstairs here. So not looking forward to that anytime soon. So hopefully your allergist will be able to help you on whatever goes on there, because it can get pretty nasty out there. There has been a bit of an uptick in the possibility of wildfires. The Storm Prediction Center, which issues the severe weather outlooks and the severe weather forecast that we show to you, the moderate, slight, high, marginal threat, that type of thing, they also issue information regarding wildfire threat. And today into tonight, and this information will change in the next few hours, western North Carolina and north central northeast Georgia seeing an elevated threat of wildfires. And this will continue until we get a good soaking in here. But for right now, the best possibility of anything like that happening looks like it's probably going to be toward the end of the week. And if we do get any rainfall, it's going to be relatively light if we get anything whatsoever. So confidence, shall we say, is not high in regards to any rain threat coming up later this week. Until then, it's possible, especially in these higher elevation areas, that we could be looking at the potential of maybe some more wildfire threat. So please use caution with anything involving fire into the next few days. If the winds really pick up, all it's going to take is a cigarette butt tossed out the window of a car to start a major wildfire. It's not going to take much, and that's the problem. There's plenty of dry fuels, and the air around here leaching the moisture out of the local plants, especially weeds and leftover vegetation that's on the ground drying out. That is where we could see the major problem. So again, caution with anything involving fire in the next couple of days would come in very handy. Time is just past 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Temperatures at the top of the hour in the high 40s to the high 50s across the area. Again, this is the News 12 viewing area. Southeast Tennessee with Chattanooga right in the middle. Western North Carolina, North Central, Northwest Georgia, and Northeast Alabama. That is the News 12 viewing area covering 4 different states, and coincidentally under the jurisdiction of 4 different National Weather Service offices. We'll explain why that's important coming up here in just a little bit. The really cold air, that is back to our north. That's been pushed well away from us, all the way back up into around the Great Lakes, the Appalachians, and parts of I-70 and areas north going way up toward, again, the Great Lakes. So we're not seeing anything in the way of very bone-chilling, frosty cold, but it will be decently chilly into later on tonight. Our latest cold front is now down to the Gulf of Mexico. High pressure is doing a good job of keeping this system not really moving all that far. It's stuck down this direction. High pressure is going to play a very big part in what is going on in the course of the next couple of days, because of the fact that we have several domes of high pressure sticking around the area. We have, again, high pressure over the Great Lakes. We have another storm system after that into the mid-plain states area, upwards around the Dakotas and into the lee of the Rockies. Another storm system coming together over southwest Canada. This will be affecting us as we go into Friday, and that will be our best chance of a shower maybe a rumble of thunder, but outside of that, it's a pipsqueak chance at best. So chances of rain toward about the area of Friday, and that's going to be about it. We're waiting to see what the forecast is for this system. Bit of an atmospheric river taking place here over parts of the Pacific, from roughly Hawaii all the way up into and around the Pacific Northwest. New storm system riding along that moisture channel, the gray clouds that you see there coming in. Sort of a miniature version of what is called the Pineapple Express. That, again, will be with high pressure aiding that to move that moisture up here. We could be looking at some slow travel southwest Canada into the northwestern United States. So that, again, could be a bit of a problem out there for travelers if you're going to be heading anywhere towards, say, Seattle, Portland, north of San Francisco. That could be definitely a problem for travelers there. But that system, if it moves our way, should not be affecting us, at least by too much. So for tonight, high pressure remains in control of pretty much everything, and not seeing much of any help from any storm system after that. We're going to be looking at anything happening toward the end of the week. There is going to be a minor chance of a disturbance setting up here mid to late week, some moisture off the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to be about it. The next system starts to move in upper Mississippi Valley, just enough moisture north of us to give us some showers, maybe a thunderstorm, toward about late Wednesday, early Thursday, and then that system kind of sidles on through to where we may see a shower or a thunderstorm, but high pressure surrounding this system is going to do a very good job of just leaching all the moisture out, so there's not that much that's going to be giving us anything in the way of a lot of any type of precipitation, winter, severe, anything like that. That is just not in the cards for right now. So the chances of rain, yes, for Friday, but pretty much over with by Friday night. High pressure escorts in a little bit of some cooler temperatures for the weekend. Not an Arctic blast, I can tell you that much, but a little bit on the cooler side out there. But we'll take a little bit of a better look at that coming up here in just a little bit. I want to take a sidebar here before we go too far away from our forecast. 2.5 million Acts of Science as part of the Acts of Science April. That's going to be sponsored by the group SciStarter. If you'd like to know more, you can go to their website at scistarter.org. This is one of the more cooler meteorological projects that you can get involved in by doing weather spotting on one planet over, the fourth rock from the sun. The atmosphere of Mars is much different than the atmosphere of Earth. The atmosphere of Mars is mainly carbon dioxide. It lost a lot of its water millions of years ago. And, excuse me, it also is a planet that when you do see clouds, most of what you're looking at, not all of it, but most of it is carbon dioxide vapor. So clouds on Mars, they're just very hard to spot. So what SciStarter is asking volunteers to do is to log on to their website and you search through data acquired by the Mars Climate Sounder and the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. It's an atmosphere that looks at the horizons of Mars and tries to determine the temperature, the water ice, and dust content of the atmosphere on Mars. The sky on Mars is kind of a russet pink color. Really neat to be able to see. And Mars is basically a desert. There has not been any rain or snow on Mars for what we can see is millions of years. The neat thing about citizen science is you don't have to have a PhD to get involved with it. So if you'd like to do so, all you have to do is go to scistarter.org and volunteer to be a part of this. And this is not the only one. There are many other different volunteer sites and science experiments that you can get involved in. Your kids are stuck inside on a boring day, and you don't want them to be, again, inside just wasting time on the computer system. Might be more interested in doing some science, and science on another planet. That's pretty cool, you do have to admit. So if you would like to take a look at more of this, all you have to do, again, is go to scistarter.org. There are tons of things you can do just at home, just in your backyard, just from your laptop or your tablet, And if you have that opportunity to, again, volunteer for stuff like this, please consider doing so. It's a great opportunity. We'll talk a little bit more about science coming up here in just a little bit. Before we go too far into the rest of the program, I want to get to the forecast for the next several days so you can hear a little bit more about what may be going on. The view with a kind of a dappled surface from the area of Island Cove, Lake Chickamauga, the winds out there 10 to 20 miles per hour, giving some pretty good rippling effects, some good white caps, wind-driven waves just high enough to create a color white as the waves form on the water. That's how breezy it was earlier today, and that is where we may be again coming up later on with more winds going on out there. The temperatures tomorrow will be relatively close again to where we should be, back in the high 60s. And then we get into around the next few days. Temperatures will warm into the lower 80s, ending the week. Chance of rain, slim though possible, on Friday night. We cool off for Saturday, Earth Hour. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. And then after that brief cool down, we may see some temperatures in the low 40s. Unless something really radically changes, I think we are pretty well done with the wintertime temperatures. So we may see a brief dip into some cooler conditions, even the 30s, even some frost in some of the higher outlying areas. But I think we are really and truly done with most of the winter weather. And then we warm back up again toward about next Monday. Temperatures well above normal, back into the mid-70s. Outdoor services for Palm Sunday coming up this weekend as Holy Week begins. For a lot of folks out there, we should be looking at good conditions out across the area. When I was growing up back in Topeka, Kansas, our church held an outdoor Palm Sunday service if the weather was good. So hopefully, again, if you're going to be out there, it is going to be chilly Sunday morning. So going to need some gloves with those palms you're going to be holding at the church service if you're doing an outdoor version there. But chances of rain not really being seen at this time. So chances of rain, we need it. We're not going to be getting that much of it. And notice again, just rain, no sign of any winter weather coming our direction anytime soon. So it would be nice, but it definitely is not happening out there. All right, you saw on the calendar we were talking about what is coming up this Saturday. It's called Earth Hour. Earth Day takes place in April. I may have mistitled that earlier. If I did, I apologize. Earth Hour is coming up this Saturday. It's been going on since 2007, sponsored by World Wildlife Fund. And if you'd like to know more about this, the website was right there to where you can find out details about how we can both learn about conserving energy and saving money, and also putting it into practice. As Americans, we can be very spendthrift when it comes to energy. A lot of us have a habit of leaving the lights on in a room for hours on end because, well, you might go back in that room at some point, and that just wastes a lot of energy flipping the switch on and off. If we were able to take a look at the amount of energy that we use, that we don't have to be using, that is something that could reduce the problem we have of pollution. It would reduce the amount of money that we're spending on energy. Some of you may say this is going to be a wasted effort. I say anything that helps us to preserve and conserve what natural resources we have are very well worth it. So this Saturday, no matter which time zone you're in, at 8:30 p.m. this Saturday in your time zone, please remember, go around your house, your business, any place that has stuff that is on that does not need to be on, and I'm not talking about flipping the breaker and making certain everybody stays unsafe because we have to turn everything off and be in the darkness. That's silly, that's stupid, that is not something you want to be doing. But if there's stuff on, like lights, like here in the studio, I like to turn the lights off back in the background so that I'm not using all the lights here. We have the light in front of me illuminating me, and that's all that I really need. And a lot of other rooms in the business here at News 12, they do have those sensors that turn the lights off, just like you have on the computer monitors that go to screensaver mode. That can save a lot of money. And when you think about it, if you left your lights on from Sunday at midnight to Sunday at midnight. That's 168 hours that you are paying for. Now, if you just did that all the way through just the beginning part of the week, let's say the unnecessary lights in certain offices that are not used, closets, crawl spaces, bathrooms that don't need to be lit up because there's nobody there, if you let them on from, say, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, that's 60 hours that you're using the lights and having to pay for that in both money and pollution. That's 108 hours that you are then not paying for. I say that's worth it and something to consider on there when you unplug a lot of things that have what are called phantom power. They stay on, you don't need them. When you turn off a lot of those things, it does start to add up, and it really does make you aware that we do have quite a lot in this country that we take for granted, one of which is the fact that we have a decent amount of cheap energy that we can use, and we do need to find better ways of spending our cash and our energy budget if at all possible. So this Saturday, please, at 8:30 your time zone, turn off the lights that you don't need, unplug appliances that have been plugged in for months that you don't use, and plug them back in when you do need them. And that right there alone can save you quite a lot. And hopefully, the reason we do this is hopefully it becomes a habit so that we are able to make that into something that says, oh, we need to conserve a lot more and pay attention to these things. This is a great way to do it. Want to find out more? Go to earthhour.org and get ready to use your power coming up this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. local time. It's a great opportunity, again, to help out. Also, if you want to learn more about weather in general, if you've ever wanted to be a meteorologist, if you're on the track to becoming a meteorologist and you want to know as much as you possibly can, the National Weather Service in Nashville is holding classes called their Weather 101 weather education classes, and the topics are numerous, and these are just the ones for the rest of March. There's more coming up for April that I wasn't able to scrunch into this graphic here. So if you'd like to learn more, the great opportunity again to find out more about various topics when it comes to weather and or science. They even cover occasionally things like tsunamis and machine learning in weather forecasting. Very fascinating seminar they had last week. The one coming up, the next one will be 2 days or a day and a half from now as we record this, Wednesday, March 25th at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's all about the basics of weather. Can't get any better than that to learn from the meteorologists and personnel at the National Weather Service. Now, if you want to ask questions, you will have to make certain that you have a microphone on hand so that you are able to voice your, you can send your voice along. If you just want to listen in, all you need are just the speakers to hear stuff with. If you'd like to know more, go to their website, weather.gov/OHX, and we'll also post this information at our website, again, at wdef.com/weather. If you missed the opportunity to get to a Skywarn training session, the National Weather Service in Peachtree City on the same date we just mentioned, Wednesday, March 25th, will be holding another Skywarn training course, a basic course. So if you'd like to sign up for this one, it's a great opportunity to go to weather.gov/FFC and then follow the information there from Skywarn. This will be 2 hours. Again, it's a great way to learn about what you can do to help your community during severe weather by learning more about what goes on. And if you're able to, again, please take the course. The more Skywarn spotters we have, the better off we are all protected, because then we have more people who know what to look for, what to listen for, what to report back to the National Weather Service. You don't have to be in law enforcement. You don't have to be an emergency crew, an emergency medic, or anything like that. You don't have to be an amateur radio operator. You just have to be you, and just sign up for this and take the course. Again, that'll be coming up in a couple of days on the 25th at 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So please, again, consider becoming a Skywarn spotter. It's a great opportunity to learn more. And before I go anywhere else, if you can't make those meetings, all you have to do is go to the National Weather Service in Morristown, and they will have an online virtual Skywarn training course that you can take whenever you want to. get the information, pass the quiz, register with your National Weather Service office, then again, watch the skies and help out when severe weather hits. They'll give you a toll-free number, a special one you can use to call in information to the National Weather Service. It's a really great way to help your community. For students, I would say it's a great thing to put on a resume that shows you are willing to help your community out when it matters. So please, again, consider doing a little bit more when it comes to becoming a Skywarn spotter on that. So please consider that. And again, thank you very much for considering that at the very least. All right, the poll of the day on Fridays and all the way through the weekend and into the beginning of the next week. We leave it up over the weekend to give everybody a chance to vote on the topic, which in this case was all about the weather pictures. We just shared one with you from earlier on. The weather picture of the day brought to you by HEP Heating. We take the previous 5 days and we line them up on our website, wdef.com/vote now. Let me get everybody on Facebook into this. And the winners, plural, a tie again this week. We had a tie last week. We have a tie again this week. Congratulations to Maureen Stratton from Dalton and David Bailey from Signal Mountain. Your particular pictures, getting some stink bugs in here. That is not what I wanted to see at this point in time. The pictures that we had from last week, this was some amazing photography. And thanks to everybody for sending it in. Maureen Stratton's picture of a sunrise in Rock Springs. Thank you very much. And a very icy view from Signal Mountain and that beautiful whitish shade of gray in the background there. Those are the two popular ones. Thank you very much, Myra Cameron from Higdon, Terry B. Nelson from Flintstone, and Bob Rivera from Lafayette for sending in your pictures. Congratulations to the winner. And again, if you would like to send your pictures in, all you have to do is let us know at our website. You can go to wdef.com/photos. You can vote in our regular polls through the week at wdef.com/vote now if you would like to pick up on those. So again, please consider sending us in your pictures. We'd love to see what you're seeing out there. So please, again, give us a good opportunity to show you a little bit more about that. Today is a special day. Today is World Meteorological Day. It's a great opportunity, again, to learn more about what's going on with the weather around the world, sponsored by and coordinated by the World Meteorological Organization. It's a celebration of weather. It is, again, a good opportunity to find out more about what goes on around the world. And again, the WMO is very involved in keeping track of what goes on with weather in and around the world. And now is a great day to get involved with stuff like this for World Meteorological Day. The theme this year is Observing Today and Protecting Tomorrow. So if you'd like to know more, you can go to wmo.int or search World Meteorological Organization, and you will be able to get more details about what it is all about and how you can get involved in a great holiday. And to find out more, excuse me, again, wmo.int, a great way to find out more details on that. All right, I think that should just about do it. We are going to be running out of time here. We've been on for a better part of half an hour, so we'll go ahead and shut things down and send them back to your regularly scheduled Monday evening. We'll have more on the forecast with Chip Chapman coming up again bright and early at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning, so stay tuned for more there. And of course, we'll have more details on the forecast with yours truly coming up Tuesday afternoon. So again, great opportunity to check out the weather with News 12 on air and online, and we'll keep you advised on there. So please stay tuned to News 12 for everything going on. We'd love to keep you advised. And again, if there's something you want to see on Weather Overtime, let us know. We would love to know more about what it is that you would like to see on here. That's it, and that's all for tonight. Again, thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime for Monday evening, the 23rd, and we'll see you again coming up on Tuesday on Weather Overtime and on air. Thanks for joining us.